Stop! Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait, try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
Apples are good. As Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Help us help those in need. Bring in a coat to Burlington. Get 10% off our everyday low prices.
New Move Free Ultra brings a revolution to joint health. It's the smallest joint health pill, now with a new triple action formula for joint, cartilage, and bone health. Move on to new Move Free Ultra.
If you're driving and you can't see clearly for 1 second at 60 miles per hour, you can't see clearly for 88 feet. And a lot can happen in 88 feet. That's why Bosch created the new Icon with ClearMax 365. It's a rubber technology for longer lasting performance, not found on any other wiper blade. Because like you, Bosch cares about what's ahead.
All right, listen up. Out on that field today, you will be ready for anything. And I want you to always remember, this is the greatest team you will ever be part of.
There's a team that makes a real difference in the world. Join the team that makes a difference.
And welcome back, everyone. The all-important 7-day forecast. Why? Because it gets you into Christmas. And you know what? It could get exciting. Not just because it's Christmas, but because we may be looking at a storm that will bring snow and wind. And, you know, we like the idea of a white Christmas, but it's going to cause some travel headaches. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But let's set this scenario for you where right now it's pretty quiet. We have one system tomorrow that's moving through the Midwest into St. Louis, maybe a little bit of snow here, maybe 1 to 3 inches expected there. Into New England, a little bit of snow. Interior sections, we've got eastern parts of Texas. This area of low pressure here could be a big severe weather maker, maybe along the Gulf Coast this week too. So that's something to keep an eye on. So this storm starting to get some energy. We're starting to see the moisture return of the Gulf of Mexico on Friday. So now the rain all the way into Little Rock. Pacific Northwest gets a storm here, and it's going to be with us on Saturday too. San Francisco close. We may be looking at some rainfall here. But watch out mid-Atlantic states, especially the higher elevations, for some wintry weather. Otherwise, this storm moves off the coast pretty quickly. Maybe a few showers left behind here this weekend. Big weekend for a lot of us. Traveling possibly, or maybe even getting out and doing some more Christmas shopping. And we're looking at Monday's forecast. The storm developing in the Central Plains. And then here we are getting close to Christmas Eve with rain initially. But on the backside of this for the Ohio Valley with cold air rushing in, could be a snow event, a wintry mix event too. So Christmas Day could be snowy for some of us. Nick?
We know some passengers have finally made it to Dallas after a rocky flight that started in Seoul, South Korea yesterday. Turbulence hit an American Airlines plane so hard that the pilot diverted the flight to Tokyo. 5 people on board had to be taken to area hospitals. Some of the passengers talked about their experience with KXAS reporter Ellen Bryan.
Passengers on this American Airlines flight from South Korea to DFW Airport weren't prepared for this.
You're sitting there eating your dinner, all of a sudden it just flies up in the air.
As flight attendants served dinner, the pilot made an announcement.
The captain gave a warning to the flight crew to sit immediately, and they literally ran to sit down.
The expected smooth flight took a violent turn.
I haven't seen this. I have flown about 5 million miles, and this was probably the worst I have seen.
Passengers say everything went flying. Glasses, plates, and the food carts.
Everything that wasn't bolted down or seat belted flew into the air.
One flight attendant hit the ceiling with such force, the exit sign broke.
I started counting my blessings, honestly. It was that bad.
And for parents on the flight?
You're just helpless. There's nothing you can do. It's very much like you see on TV.
For a control freak, you're out of control. I mean, you're just riding it. It's sort of like, it was surreal. That's someone used that word. It was like a crazy Hollywood movie.
Now, the 5 people who were hurt remain in Tokyo for treatment. But let's show you what causes that type of turbulence that struck the plane, Kim.
It was that jet stream, and that's one of the things you look for if you're a pilot, where the jet stream is, where the jet maxes are, where the fastest winds are within that jet stream, and that's the area you want to avoid. Unfortunately, we were caught up in this with this flight. So right now, the storm system is well off to the east. We saw that cyclonic flow over Japan right now, and look how deep this thing is. This thing really exploded. I mean, it was a really strong storm system, and the reason it got so strong was because of the jet stream. We have the jet stream cutting right over Japan still, currently, and especially to the north of where you have the blue and the red, where those kind of come together. On the cold side of the jet stream is a lot of times where you look, where that jet streak is, where you look for the turbulence. It could be severe, and that's exactly where it was in this area. And you know what? There still is a chance of severe turbulence in this region with this jet stream still over us. So why does it happen? Because we call the shear that happens around the jet stream. We've got the changing of wind speeds around there, especially on that northern side. So what happens, you actually get little circulations that develop because you got the stronger winds over the top of the slower winds. You get these little circulations developing. Boy, you try to fly through that, and look what happens. That's why we urge everybody, always keep your seatbelts on whenever you're flying, unless you have to get up for some reason. But otherwise, even if they tell you you can get up and walk around or take your seatbelts off, I would suggest you always keep them on. Now, coming up next, if you want to see how that storm that caused turbulence over the Pacific is going to influence our Christmas weather. Really? Yep, right here at home.
Find it. Go out there and find that place. Because only you know where you're going. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is life. Yeah. And it begins when you find your fit.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. There we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
Everyone sees the same sky, but when we look up, we see something amazing. This winter, you've got to watch the Weather Channel mornings.
It's going to have wide-ranging impacts.
Winter storms are too important to cover in just a few minutes.
It's going to be brutal for a lot of people.
Because it's not just about your forecast.
That's why those temperatures stay cold.
Look at this!
Listen to that!
See this winter like never before. Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Currently in our area, 73 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, a mainly sunny sky. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear skies. Low 55. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thanks.
FedEx has solutions to enable global commerce that can help your company grow steadily and quickly.
做得很好。
Cut it out. See you tomorrow.
With FedEx Express by December 23rd for delivery by Christmas.
What's that? Oh, wow.
Hello, humans. Focus on me.
Focus on the guard. Don't tell anyone what you've seen in here.
Have you seen what's in there? They have
Intel. This is where it all changes.
If it's in your nature to love the great outdoors, don't miss your chance to find the perfect gifts at the Cabela's Christmas online event. Find gifts for everyone on your list, plus check out our free shipping promotions. Don't miss our Christmas online event at Cabela's.com.
Introducing York Minis. A bite-sized way to enjoy the full-size sensation of peppermint and rich, dark chocolate. York Minis. Get the sensation.
Mega Red is an omega-3 supplement recognized by the Hope Heart Institute. Research shows omega-3s may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. The omega-3s in Mega Red are easily absorbed by the body, and it's just one small pill a day. Support your heart health with Mega Red.
Apples are good. A Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying...
Will that be all, sir?
Thank you. Ordering Chinese food is a very predictable experience. I order B14, I get B14. No surprises. Buying business internet, on the other hand, can be a roller coaster white-knuckle thrill ride. You're promised one speed, but do you consistently get it? You do with Comcast Business, and often even more. It's reliable, just like Kung Pao fish. Thank you, Ping.
Reliably fast internet starts at $89.95 a month. Comcast Business, built for business.
Sheila, you see this ball control? You see this, right? It's 80% confidence and 64% knee brace. That's more. Shh. I know that's more than 100%, but that's what winners give. Now bicycle kick your old 401k into an IRA.
I know.
Listen, just get TD Ameritrade's rollover consultants on the horn. They'll guide you through the whole process. It's simple. Even she could do it. Whatever, Janet.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
314-8013.
The Weather Channel unearths the investigations, the mysteries.
Nobody was flying the plane.
Why planes crash. Next Monday, here on the Weather Channel.
They're the pictures that captured the weather stories of 2014. Check out weather.com and scroll through the top 100 images of the year. From snowstorms to tornadoes to wildfires, they're the events that changed lives. They are also the breathtaking scenes that prove it's amazing out there. Check it out, the top 100 images of 2014 right now on weather.com. Well, time now for our winter weather update, so let's go to Kim in the lab with Storm Tracker Jim Cantori.
All right, thanks so much, Nick. And it's interesting, we were talking about the turbulence and the problem here with the flight over Japan. So now we're going to track this because the jet stream is actually what caused the turbulence. It's actually the same jet stream and the same disturbance that eventually get to us.
Oh, yeah, it all goes around the northern hemisphere. Right. But you're right, this is really the beginning of a significant pattern change for us. But not surprisingly, if you're sitting in this jet core at 200 plus miles an hour, and out here it's about 70 miles per hour, you're going to have horizontal wind shear.
Right.
All right, you're going to have all sorts of rotation going on there. So that was a no-win situation getting in that, unfortunately.
I'm not sure how the pilot didn't know. I don't know, that's interesting what happened there.
And it was also a developing storm, so you had not only horizontal spin, but you had vertical motion going on in the atmosphere too. So a lot of problems with that. But here's the deal. The point I want to make with it is that is really the beginning of now a big change in our jet stream. So instead of just cutting into California, Kim, now we've got an amplified pattern again with a ridge and trough setup. Now this is by Sunday morning, but now we're setting the stage for what is going to be an interesting midweek. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about. By the way, after tonight, you're done in Southern California for about 7 days. No rain, high pressure, great travel. Okay. So we can check off the Southwest. You're going to be looking real good here coming up as we go through the next 7 days. All right, let's get into this as we get in towards Sunday and look at what happens here. We start to see a little bit of a sharper kink as that cold air begins to dump in. So if you start amplifying the pattern, not surprisingly, you're going to get some interesting weather that comes out of that, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Right. So here's that disturbance. This is the one that's going to come through us as we get in toward Friday. And look at this thing. We can't talk about this enough, actually. Let's go to red. I think it's going to look better. This is really going to soak the Northwest. If you're feeling a little left out here, get ready for about 5 to 10 inches of rain.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's already a streamer of rain coming into Portland as we speak. But believe me, the real wet weather is going to be Saturday through Monday as that system comes on shore. At least
so California takes a break, and now the Pacific Northwest is going to get it.
You kind of notice that that's the disturbance coming through and dropping south now. But here, look at the ridging.
Yeah.
So that's a big high pressure system. That's what's going to be building in as we work our way through really the next 7 days. So enjoy that. We'll squeak some rain down in towards San Francisco with this system. It comes into the Pacific Northwest, but it's not going to be much. It's not going to be much at all. So here we are on Friday. We've got a disturbance almost where we have the one today, and we also have one up to the north. So these aren't going to really play together in phase, so we don't expect a big storm at all. There'll be cold air up and through here, but the precip itself is going to slide with the southern stream system, and that's going to make its way off toward the south and east. So here it goes, working its way up through the east, and you'll notice how the lead system kicks out to sea, and then the second one lags behind with a little bit of snow, possibly for upstate New York and northern New England. All the moisture's down to the south. This is the cold air. This kind of illustrates that same point.
Right.
They never really get together. You never really see the cold air dumping in on the back side of this. Not surprising. And then that whole thing just kind of kicks its way on off toward the east and basically continues to track that way. So we're not looking at much of all at anything. So here's our holiday travel for Friday night. Expect rain, Nashville, Jonesboro, Atlanta eventually. I think it'll be late into Atlanta, so if you get a flight, let's say it lands at 7 p.m., I think you'd be fine.
Right.
But anything later than that, I think you get into the frozen or the rainy precipitation. Saturday's going to be an awful day. Temperatures in the 40s, and then again, we'll watch most of that slide to the east with a little leftover precipitation up toward the north, and that's how it's going to look. But here we go from Sunday right into Monday. Look what happens. We set the stage for this big trough in the east, Kim, and cold air to dump down in. Now, right now, it looks like it's going to produce a lot of action on the eastern seaboard in the form of rain. I think there'll also be a lot of wind coming up and through here. I don't have time to go through all the graphics, but watch out on the backside of this, too. On Christmas Eve, there will be an area that starts off sunny, but then we will see, I think, convective snow showers as the cold air piece of this drops down into place. So very active on Christmas Eve.
We see a phasing of the jet streams right there, and that's going to be a big problem for us.
Just off the coast.
And some will see a lot of rain.
Yeah,
we'll be right back.
big time.
Currently in our area, 72 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, a mainly sunny sky, high 78, winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear skies, low 55, winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Weather Center Live. I'm Kim Cunningham.
And I'm Nick Walker. And just 1 week till Christmas Eve. Can you believe it? There's some weather that could make your travel plans kind of a headache.
All those details straight ahead, but we have some snow to talk about right now. How about several inches possible overnight?
That's right. Right here in the middle of the nation, expect to see that in the darker blue from portions of Kansas up into Missouri. Kansas City, you're in that bullseye. 3 to 5 inches could fall in some of those locations. 1 to 3 inches in a widespread area from western Kansas all the way through portions of Missouri, including the Springfield area. So let's get right to the expert on this. Storm Tracker Jim Cantor is keeping an eye on everything right there in the lab. Jim?
Yeah, and okay, guys, we started off with an interesting day because temperatures were above freezing in a lot of areas, but the air was dry in the low layers of the atmosphere. So precipitation started falling through. We got sleet. And then we wound up with snow, especially across south central Kansas. And in some cases, we just had enough air rising in the western part of Kansas to create a little freezing drizzle. So problems over there along I-70, accidents around exit 22 to exit 24. Good move, though, by the schools. What a great job by the emergency managers and probably the National Weather Service in Goodland to actually call for an early release. That's how you do it. That's how you help me do what I'm doing right here, by talking and getting the word out that we've got a freezing drizzle problem. So thank you. Great job. We are basically a voice of the Weather Service here at the Weather Channel, and I love that. So here we go. Across I-70 as you head toward Colorado, it's not too bad from the Eisenhower Tunnel on westward. Most of this is east of that, but even up into Colorado, it's not too bad at all. Again, Wichita, now that obviously the sun is set, but you can see the snow that's on the ground here. Also see nice job of the Christmas lights right there being put up. But earlier on, when we showed that shot, you could actually see the snow that was on the ground, not only on the grass, but also on the roads. So a little batch of heavier snow now right along the area here, just at Mulvane to Viola, heading up toward Wichita, Bloomington. We've actually got some snow falling all the way down to the Oklahoma line and through here. And the back edge of the precip is starting to come into, I guess, west central Oklahoma now. So that's the back edge of it for Wichita. Probably the next several hours will feature that. But here comes the second piece of this. It's all starting to fill in now as it makes its way north toward Kansas City. And this is really our event later tonight and on into tomorrow morning. So what we're hoping for in Kansas City is to get the back edge of this up over you by the time everybody heads out to work in the morning. And that's possible. That's possible as this event slides on off toward the east. Now, from Interstate 44 south, it is just too warm. We may start out with a few sleet pellets. You may see a little minor accumulation on the grass, but the atmosphere is not going to support a big sleet or snow event to the south of I-44. That's exactly what we forecast here. You see 1 to 3, maybe even 3 to 5. Most of the Kansas City metro will see 1 to 3 inches of snow. So this is the same disturbance that produced the rain, the heavy rain in Torrance, California last night. This disturbance right here is the last one to come into Southern California for at least 7 days. So we will dry out and we will gradually warm up and get offshore flow in Los Angeles and San Diego. So if you're traveling next week at all to the southwest, you're golden in terms of the weather there. The cold air loft, again, is responsible for our thunderstorms and our changeover in precipitation today because it's getting the air rising. It's bringing it up through that layer and allowing it to condense and precipitate. Model does a nice job with this situation. Watch this. Here brings the snow into Kansas City by about 10 o'clock tonight, local time. I-70 snowy from Topeka all the way into Kansas City at that point. So some rough overnight travel. But here we are at 5 a.m., still showing some snow around. But it also starts to show some sleet, rain to sleet to snow even into St. Louis. So we could actually have a worse rush hour potentially in St. Louis if the precipitation holds together like it may. So either way, I-70 across Missouri and eastern Kansas, some rough travel for you tomorrow morning. Kim, back to you.
We had some rain this morning here in the Boston area, and you better keep those umbrellas handy. Your trip home drier than the ride to work was. But later this evening and into the overnight, scattered showers could work their way back into the greater Boston area. So, yes, it's going to be a little wet for some of us in the Northeast. We're going to take a look at what's happening right now in the Northeast. And we did have some delays, by the way, at Newark and LaGuardia, I believe, because of the weather, because of the low ceilings and the wind. So you want to check ahead for sure. But here in Boston, 47 degrees right now. We got to 51, I think, in Boston today. That's pretty nice. The winds right now, the west-northwest at 14. We'll drop those temperatures in the 30s overnight tonight. And as you can see, some snow in northern Maine right now, but anywhere from 95 eastward to the Atlantic coast, it is mainly rain at this point. So the upper level system still sitting back here, and as long as it is, we're going to continue the threat for some snow showers, especially in the higher elevations. There's the jet stream right over the Northeast, and there's the low itself at the surface. So you can see the colder air being wrapped around this or being drawn in from Canada. So we're expecting temperatures to drop. It's going to be a little bit colder tomorrow than it was today for the Northeast. So looking at this tonight, some snow showers looks like for the upstate part of New York, Green and White Mountains into Maine as well. Several inches of snow expected here. This is through 9 o'clock Thursday morning, and then during the afternoon hours, as the upper level low begins to depart, we see an end to our snow. But before it's done, maybe 5 to 8 inches in ski country. So some people win on this one. Nick.
All right, let's talk about the winners or the not so winners here for holiday travel as we head into the weekend. We're talking about some areas that are going to be a little bit icy in spots. That may include Roanoke, Virginia. We could see some snow mixed with rain, maybe some sleet on the roadways, an afternoon mixture of precipitation types on into Saturday before it stops and then just stays cool but warms up on Sunday, so there shouldn't be any icy problems by then. It all starts back out here in the west, as it usually does. We're monitoring 2 disturbances, one off the northwest coast, one off the southwest coast. And as the upper-level disturbances make their way inland, we're going to see by late week them residing here around the center of the nation. We're going to find a lot of colder air farther south, too. This jet stream really far toward the south. So while we'll probably see some wintry weather here north of the jet, it's all going to be rain here south late in the week. That's because this area of low pressure is going to be drawing up that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and we're going to see more of that rain. Could be heavy at times. As the storm continues to track out to sea, it looks like a lot of areas here in the south could get wet. Nevertheless, some of us are going to see that wintry mixture of precipitation types. Some snow there south of St. Louis, maybe mixed with rain or sleet. And then on into Sunday, we're going to have to watch I-81 here through Virginia and even down toward Asheville, where we could see that wintry mix on some of the roads, and that could make them pretty slick. Here's Sunday's forecast. By Sunday, more snowy weather coming your way, and that could involve you on the way to some of those ski areas that Kim was talking about, but also mean new powder up there in the higher elevations. New York City, rain and snow mix Saturday night, and then it warms up and we see just clouds over you through Sunday night. Kim?
And you know, parts of the Sierra have seen welcome snow again today, but it's more rain that gave you trouble from the Bay Area to San Diego.
I'm MARY, and I have COPD.
I'm JEFF, and I have COPD.
I'm LISA, and I have COPD. But I don't want my breathing problems to get in the way of hosting my book club. That's why I asked my doctor about BREO.
Once daily, Brio Ellipta helps increase airflow from the lungs for a full 24 hours. And Brio helps reduce symptom flare-ups that last several days and require oral steroids, antibiotics, or hospital stay. Brio is not for asthma. Brio contains a type of medicine that increases risk of death in people with asthma. It is not known if this risk is increased in COPD. Brio won't replace rescue inhalers for sudden COPD symptoms and should not be used more than once a day. Brio may increase your risk of pneumonia, thrush, osteoporosis, and some eye problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking Brio.
Ask your doctor about BREO for COPD.
First prescription free at mybrio.com.
We're new to the Pacific Northwest. The rain, the mud, but bam, it's there. The outside comes in. It's a Swiffer wet jet. Oh, I love this. I could do this every day. Ugh. Sunshine is overrated. Now we can get messy.
Make movie night unforgettable with tickets from Fandango.
And about 4 o'clock.
Experience the unbelievable true story of an American hero.
We have an Olympic athlete.
And the courage that will bring him home.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken. Rated PG-13. Christmas Day. Get your tickets now at fandango.com/unbroken.
Currently in our area, 72 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, sunshine. Thursday night, clear, low 55, winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday night. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
From I wonder what it is to you'll never guess. Everything from LL Bean is backed by the same rock-solid guarantee. So while they keep guessing, you know that we'll take it back or replace it. LL Bean, guaranteed to please.
There is no car in this accident. Because there was no accident. Volvo's most advanced accident avoidance systems ever. The future of safety from the company that has always brought you the future of safety. Give the gift of Volvo this season, and we'll give you your first month's payment on us.
New Move Free Ultra brings a revolution to joint health. It's the smallest joint health pill, now with a new triple action formula for joint, cartilage, and bone health. Move on to new Move Free Ultra.
Eastbound travel stopped cold today on the Riverside Freeway near Anaheim Hills in Orange County, California. A hillside gave way following heavy rain there. It sent rocks tumbling and mud oozing over the highway's eastbound lanes. 5 to 7 vehicles got trapped in the muck. It took 2 workers 2 hours to free them. Actually, it was more than 2 workers, but it took 2 hours for a bunch of workers to free them, and crews spent hours plowing away the mud and debris. And take a look at this in Torrance, California. Drivers slowed to a crawl on streets with standing water. Dozens of cars stalled after streets swelled with rain. And that's not all. Local media reports that heavy rain caused a ceiling to give way at a hotel in Anaheim. It actually hit a woman as she slept. The tourist from Canada suffered minor cuts and bruises. All right, so we've had a lot of water in California. How is it doing on the reservoirs? Let's take a look at 2 of the major reservoirs here in California. The current level is about 32% capacity. Doesn't seem like much, but consider the fact that, this time of year we would probably be about 53% capacity here at Lake Shasta. So even though, only about halfway up, we're not even really close to that. So we've got a long way to go here. Another reservoir that we're watching too is Lake Oroville. It's also about 1/3 capacity right now, and it too would be about half capacity this time of year, about 54%. So even though we've had 10 trillion gallons of water fall on California this month, we still have a ways to go to begin filling up those reservoirs as much as we'd like to see them. But also we've got a way to go with the snowpack too, Kim.
We do, Nick, and I think it's so relative because, in the last month we're thinking, gosh, we've gotten so much snow, we've gotten so much rain in California. But if you look at the big picture, it's not that much really, and I think we're just so used to them not getting much snow and rain last couple of years that it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. Here for the northern parts of California, northern Sierra and the Trinity region, we're 50% of average to date. Now, the stats they use for snow in California, they start in April. It's April to April. That's the cycle. So we're 50% of average right now to date, half of where we should be up to this date. Sierra Nevada here in the central region, 42% of average to date. That's as of today. And then here in the southern parts of the Sierra, 61%. Now, if you look at it to April 1st and you kind of go out from there, we're anywhere from 10 to 15% of where we should be if you take it out to April. So it gives you an idea we're still far from where we should be, and hopefully we're going to make up for this here coming up over the next couple of months. But Nick, again, a far cry where we should be, but at least we got something out of this.
It's something anyway.
Something.
All right, let's take a look at the something that has been over San Francisco today, and that is rainfall. A few people walking by we see on this live shot with umbrellas. And by the way, this is one of my favorite views in San Francisco of the Ghirardelli sign. You know what to get me for Christmas? Just get me chocolate, and you won't go wrong. All right? Let's talk about what's to come, though, in California, because we have had rain throughout the day. We will see more as we head through the evenings. But let's take a look back at what we've got so far. Look at San Francisco. Almost 10 inches so far this month. That's almost 6 inches above average. Amazing, considering the drought you have been in for the last 3 years. LA's above average by over an inch, above average by 5 inches in Sacramento, and about 2.5 there in San Diego. So rain, yes, we have had it. Yes, we are continuing to get it, and we'll get a little bit more here before this system moves on. There's San Francisco right now. Some heavier rain, as you can see, from the oranges and yellows moving into the city right now, but also look southward, and you see a lot of heavy rain moving in as well along 101. So prepare yourself. It's not going to be letting up just yet. Heavy rain into the Northern California area, up into the coastal range, and also southward, where we're going to see a little bit more too. We've got a few sprinkles in the area here around LA and some snow up into the mountains. Probably not going to see nearly as much there around Southern California. Nevertheless, here as the hours roll on, some of that could invade once again, and it looks like even into Friday we could be wet in San Francisco before we turn it all off. Kim?
And it's the forecast everyone wants to know about. Will we see a white Christmas? Well, the holidays have definitely arrived in the Big Apple. Look at this. Everybody's out ice skating. What a beautiful night in New York.
apples are good. As Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Okay, call me crazy, but I like it when my hygienist lets me know I'm doing a good job. I like it when my toothpaste lets me know too. That's why I went pro.
Go pro with Crest Pro Health. It's specially formulated for an intensive clean.
It's great. I can really feel it deep cleaning my mouth.
For a clean that's 4 times better, try these Crest Pro Health products together.
My hygienist is going to love this.
Crest Pro Health protects all these areas dentists check most. Go pro with Crest Pro Health.
I knew I was going to nail it. Yep, I did.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
Here's a great gift idea for the whole family. Now with Walmart credit card special financing.
In a world filled with ultra-high definition picture, the Vizio 4K Ultra HD TV will rise.
It works great with Vizio's 2.1 sound stand.
Where room-filling theater sound and ultra-high def collide.
You know what? You can stop with the over-dramatic movie trailer voice now.
And this time, it's personal.
And now get special financing when you use your Walmart credit card. More ways to Christmas joy. Walmart.
I'm calling in regard.
Hey, stranger. Remember when you were little and you got us for the holidays?
How about getting another gift this holiday you'll love just as much?
Like this Honda Accord during Happy Honda Days.
It's got Pandora compatibility and a rear view camera.
Is that Tex?
My bad. That one's on me.
Get something you'll love at the Happy Honda Days sales event, where all 2015 models come standard with a rear view camera.
Looks like the Garcia's got a new car.
What'd they get?
I don't know. It's pretty nice. Maybe he got a raise.
Good for him.
Good for her.
The expectation-shattering Buick Enclave.
Current lessees celebrate the holidays by switching to Buick and lease this 2015 Enclave for around $349 per month.
High risk of heavy rescue. Highway Through Hell, Sundays at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your look on the 8s, brought to you by ServPro, helping make sure your home or business is ready for whatever happens.
From restoring damage in just one room to an entire building, turn to the cleanup team that's here in your community and here to help at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, sunshine, high 78, winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear, low 55, winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, go ahead and sing it with Nick.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Oh, he's our resident singer here for sure. At least here in New York City, we're looking at a beautiful night. The tree, absolutely gorgeous. Folks out ice skating. Now, will the city see a white Christmas? Will you? Well, we're going to take a closer look at who's likely to see snow for the holiday. in just a minute. But let's talk about maybe some problems coming up over the next couple of days. Nick?
I love that shot this time of year, the folks skating the tree, but you may not like what you're going to see here in this forecast if you are going to be traveling, particularly on some of the roadways toward the north. We've got this big dip in the jet stream, and that means some colder air coming well toward the south. Don't worry too much about the south. It's just going to be rain pulled in from this moisture here across the Gulf of Mexico, but it's going to be making its way northward. And so next week, the week of Christmas, looks pretty wet here for early on in the week around the south. Up toward the north, well, the jury's still out, all right? There could be some wintry weather. It's hard to say exactly who is going to be experiencing it, so you'll have to kind of watch this space, all right? Here's Tuesday. Snow showers in Minneapolis, Des Moines, making its way toward Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Louisville to Cincinnati. Watch out, maybe a little mixture of wintry precipitation, some sleet and snow in the mix. Pittsburgh to Buffalo, some snow for you on Christmas Day, and we'll see more of that up into upstate New York, the Adirondacks, and into the Green and White Mountains as well. So here's Monday. Wet weather in Florida. We'll see quite a bit of wet weather on Tuesday here across the south, all the way from eastern Texas into the Carolinas. Then on Christmas Eve, a lot of that moves northward. Might even see some rain mixed with snow here around Middle Tennessee, over toward Asheville. Wet weather there around the Carolina shores. And it looks like we're going to find on Christmas Day a little bit of that snowy weather probably impacting many of us. What about a white Christmas? I wish I could tell you here around because my clicker is broken, but we will see a pretty good chance of it up into the northeast, a slight chance across the northern plains, Kim.
Hate the broken clicker syndrome. Hate it. All right, guys, it's the million-dollar question. Who will see a white Christmas? We have hundreds of meteorologists here at the Weather Channel, but one guy in particular knows more about snow than anyone else. Winter weather expert Tom Nizzle.
Well, on weather.com right now, we've got a great poll going on to see which of 5 cities you might vote for that has the best chance for a white Christmas. Let's show you the cities and some of the setup here. So we're going from Little Rock over to Omaha, Chicago, Buffalo, and Philadelphia. This is the current snow depth across the country, and about the only place where there's any snow is in and around Buffalo. The city itself, no snow, so, we're probably pretty even with all our cities here. If we take a look historically or climatologically at what the chances are for each of these cities, well, our big snow cities, 40% in Chicago, 44% in Omaha, 57% in Buffalo. Little Rock and Philadelphia, much less chance historically for a white Christmas. Now, as we go into the Christmas time frame, look how this sets up. In the beginning of next week, it's relatively warm across the nation, but as we get into the Christmas Day, cold air settling down across the Great Lakes region in particular. About the only city that's out of that cold air is Little Rock. So if we take Little Rock out of the equation, let's take a look at what the weather map is going to look like at the surface on Christmas Eve. This massive low pressure system on the GFS model with cold air coming down on the back side of that could produce a significant snowstorm. The European model is very similar here, just a little further to the west on Christmas Eve with cold air coming down on this side of the system. I'm going to leave Christmas Day open for you to figure out what that weather map might look like and who you might vote for as the most likely city to have a white Christmas. Head to weather.com and you'll get the details. We'll send it back to you.
Maybe a little bit of snow, maybe in parts of the south. All right, guys. Let's recap that poll that you heard Tom talk about online right now on weather.com/white Christmas. Take our poll to vote for who you think will see a white Christmas. Tell us if you think it'll be Chicago, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Omaha, or Little Rock. Will they take the snowflake crown this year? Well, we want to see your videos too. Let us know why you deserve a white Christmas this year. You can share those with us by simply texting My White Christmas to 99,000 and you'll be directed on how to upload the video. We'll have more on this storm, plus look at what's happening here in Kansas City, maybe into St. Louis as well. Will we see snow in Kansas City? We'll let you know.
What if there was a credit card where the reward was that new car smell and the freedom of the open road? A card that gave you that I'm 16 and just got my first car feeling. Presenting the Buy Power card from Capital One. Redeem earnings toward part or even all of a new Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or Cadillac with no limits. So every time you use it, you're not just shopping for goods. You're shopping for something great. Learn more at buypowercard.com.
Mega Red is an omega-3 supplement recognized by the Hope Heart Institute. Research shows omega-3s may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. The omega-3s in Mega Red are easily absorbed by the body, and it's just one small pill a day. Support your heart health with Mega Red.
The Men's Warehouse holiday sale is on. Get a new look and celebrate the season with confidence. Get select suits for $179.99. Plus, buy one, get one free on almost everything else in the store. Confidence suits you. Only at Men's Warehouse.
No wind, no rain can keep these guys away from you. Because when severe weather breaks out,
we saw houses obliterated.
Devastation here is just ridiculous.
The First Response Team of America storms in.
Our mission is pretty straightforward. Get to a storm site quickly and start helping survivors immediately.
Thank you!
Buckle up and follow the team all winter long on the Weather Channel and weather.com/responders. The First Response Team of America, powered by Ram, the official truck of the Road to Recovery.
You don't need to think about the energy that makes our lives possible. Because we do. We're ExxonMobil, and powering the world responsibly is our job. Because boiling an egg isn't as simple as just boiling an egg. Life takes energy. Energy lives here.
On Christmas Day,
you can do this, Luke. Just gotta believe it.
Rolling Stone raves, Unbroken has a spirit that soars.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Filled with hope, faith, and forgiveness. Unbroken, rated PG-13.
Apples are good. As Strongbow Hard Cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Dave, I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta take a sick day tomorrow.
Dads don't take sick days. Dads take NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine.
Make movie night unforgettable with tickets from Fandango.
And about 4 o'clock,
experience the unbelievable true story of an American hero.
We have an Olympic athlete.
And the courage that will bring him home.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day. Get your tickets now at fandango.com/unbroken.
Currently in our area, 72 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, sunshine, high 78, winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear, low 55, winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday night. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live as we track a wintry system that will make the morning commute a little tricky for one major city.
All right, let's get right to it. Storm tracker Jim Cantor is in the lab keeping a close eye on Kansas City. Jim.
Yeah, looks like Mike Seidel is on his way this morning. I saw a tweet from him out of the Atlanta airport, so he'll be covering beautiful Kansas City for you in the morning and probably chowing down some barbecue, I think, during the afternoon hours. That sounds all right, doesn't it? All right, here we go. Wichita at the Mid-Continent Airport. We've got 0.8 inches so far. So that's pretty much right on par, and all that precipitation is expanding off toward the north and east. Now, as you can see, it's dark there now. Christmas lights are out, snow on the ground. There's also snow on the roads that were out here earlier. I wanted to say that a lot of the moisture actually had to go into producing the atmosphere that was cold enough for snowfall in Wichita. So we got sleet first, and then we got snow on top of that. So in Kansas City's case, it's already cold enough. So we won't have to do what we call wet bulbing. If anything, maybe a little saturation of the air initially, and then boom, it will be an all-snow event. 1 to 3 is what we're expecting in the metro area. Earlier on, we had a whole bunch of pink and purple on and through here, which would represent our sleet that was coming on down, but that has changed on over to all snow now. As you can see, we have a pretty good area of snow across central Kansas at the present time. A lot of bright band here. These aren't thunderstorms. We had some earlier, even though there may be an occasional flash of lightning, but there's also been a few pockets of sleet mixed in here where we've got some drier air. But really, anybody south of 44 should not have too many problems with the roads, okay? It's all above freezing there. We don't anticipate too many problems here. As you can see, the snow is creeping north toward Emporia, Topeka, and eventually toward Kansas City. It'll take a while, but certainly the next couple of hours, looks like all this precipitation is going to get on in there. Notice the precip is expanding on off toward the east here. It looks like St. Louis may be in play as we go toward tomorrow morning. The big question is, what happens to the system as it moves to the east? It really weakens. I mean, there's not much dynamic energy left to it. So tomorrow morning, if there's going to be some problems, maybe St. Louis, maybe a little pocket across Illinois, southern Indiana, and also northern Kentucky. So just watch out on those bridges and overpasses tomorrow morning, especially where your car thermometer says it's less than 32 degrees or even right at 32. So here's that area of snow. We expanded it now off toward the east, which I think was a good move given the precipitation trajectory. Got a little pocket here off across west central Kansas of about 3 to 5 inches as well. And this is really where we're going to see probably the maximum amount of snow. It just depends on where the banding sets up. And this is all just starting now. So it's really now through about 7 a.m. that the main event is going to go on. And this is the same system, by the way, that produced the heavy rain and the flooding and even the tornado that we had yesterday around the Torrance area, first time in a decade there. So with the cold air aloft, we may have a thunderstorm or two to go, but most of this again is heading on off toward the east, and we will be out of the woods with this. So here's the model doing a nice job with this. Looks like it gets the precipitation in there about 10 o'clock, and then right around midnight, it's pretty much going to be just west of Columbia, back through Kansas City, Topeka, and continuing west toward Hill City, Kansas. Wichita will be getting out of this by about midnight. And look at tomorrow morning, both Kansas City and St. Louis into the snow. Now, if there's a little bit of a drying, it may be right in through here. So we'll shut it off shortly thereafter that by about 8 o'clock in Kansas City. But the whole precip area, guys, just kind of washes away as the disturbance itself just kind of gets stretched into oblivion in through here. So at this point, we will reload. We will see what happens with the system that's coming through California tonight, and that will be really our primary rainmaker for the southeast and the Gulf Coast coming up on Friday and Saturday. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jim. That's exactly what we're going to talk about, too. We're expecting maybe a mess coming up later on this week for travelers. We're concerned about traveling across the South. Airports, we're looking at airport delays, too. So we're looking at the problems setting up across the South and the Mid-Atlantic and a little bit for parts of New England. We'll show you that forecast in just a second. But here's the forecast for some cities in the South. Atlanta, 47 with rain. It's possible at Hartsfield there could be delays. So think about that, plus 75 to major thoroughfare here coming from the north to south heading towards Florida. That could cause some problems on the roadways. Just slow it down. Roanoke, 36 degrees, maybe some sleet and snow we're talking about on Saturday. Asheville at 39 with a rain-snow mix, but a cold rain at 39 degrees. And Norfolk, it'll just be plain old rain with temperatures in the 40s. So the disturbance we're going to be watching is this one coming into Southern California. It's this one we're going to track as it moves across the South. And you know what? We're going to see the potential of severe storms. Nick's going to talk more about that here in just a minute. But we're going to watch this disturbance moving across the jet stream. The cold air north of the jet stream, typical. South of the jet stream and the warmer air. So it's really anywhere from North Carolina northward that we're going to see the potential of any kind of wintry weather. And that really will be confined mainly to the higher elevations. So there's the forecast. A rain event all the way to Nashville. And Asheville, again, maybe a mixture out there. Nick?
Well, you know, nobody likes severe storms at holiday time, but you may be getting some here around Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, all areas that we're watching here for your holiday travel. And we could see at least a little bit of lightning and thunder, maybe some hail and damaging winds, and the outside chance, too, of a tornado. This moisture is going to be building as we head through the night and into tomorrow. We'll see some light rain to start with here around southeastern Texas, portions of Louisiana into tomorrow. By the time we get to Thursday night and Friday, we're going to see some thunder and lightning no doubt make its way into this area and affect especially areas around I-10, I-40 could be affected. Here's where we expect to see that greatest threat of the severe weather. South Texas, all the way up through Corpus Christi, Houston, across Lake Charles and on into New Orleans. There is a chance of a tornado here. It's a slight chance, but a chance nevertheless to watch out for. A 3 in 10 chance of seeing a tornado within a 50-mile radius of coastal Texas and Louisiana. So we'll be watching Saturday for that storm threat to move eastward. So the severe threat in red here, encompassing much of the Florida Panhandle, Pensacola, Apalachicola, Tallahassee, and again, in addition to the hail and damaging wind threat, there's also that threat of a tornado within a 50-mile radius of the northeastern coast, a 3 in 10 chance of seeing a tornado. And this is the area that we're going to be watching, Pensacola, Friday night and on into Saturday morning as those storms could move through. Kim?
Well, you've heard the saying, no two snowflakes are alike, but does the cliche actually have traction in science? Well, we've analyzed the odds to bring you the answer. Here's Sam Champion.
A snowflake begins to form when a water droplet freezes around an atmospheric dust particle. This becomes what's called a condensation nucleus and can be just 4 millionths of an inch in diameter. That's 1,000 times smaller than the thickness of a single sheet of paper. In sub-freezing temperatures, the water molecules crystallize around this speck of dust. When this crystal becomes heavier than the surrounding air, it begins to fall. During its approximate 15 to 45 minute trip to the ground, this new snowflake travels through changes in humidity, temperature, and wind. As the flake adds water molecules, each of these atmospheric factors contribute differently to form a unique 6-arm symmetrical pattern. For example, flakes that fall through cold and dry conditions typically have simpler, compact shapes, while those falling through warmer, more humid conditions often have very complex dendrites, or arms. Now, when taking into account the countless subtle variations of weather each crystal can experience, the odds of two snowflakes being exactly the same shape are astronomical. Under a microscope, an average-sized snowflake can easily have more than 100 distinguishable features. And even though every year it's been estimated that 1 septillion snow crystals fall to the ground, that's a 1 with 24 zeros, we'll still likely never see two that are identical.
Cool stuff. All right, guys, just ahead, a different high-flying view.
Yeah, and this one's terrifying. Passengers share a mid-air scare.
Currently in our area, 71 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, sunshine, high 78, winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear, low 55, winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
New Move Free Ultra brings a revolution to joint health. It's the smallest joint health pill, now with a new triple action formula for joint, cartilage, and bone health. Move on to new Move Free Ultra.
Christmas is days away, so let's act fast, really fast. Let's do must-have, know-how, just right, right now. Last minute? You got it. Or get one of these. Let's put the list to bed, add up the savings, and count down the days. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Buy a combo kit and get up to $150 toward any cordless power tool, radio, or battery.
So much to shop for. I still have a lot of gifts to get. I have so many people on my list. Burlington. They've got bags, they've got boots, PJs, toys, watches, coats, great deals. Barbie dolls. They've got stocking stuffers. There's always new gifts arriving. Everything you need. High five.
Introducing the Citi Double Cash Card. It earns you cash back now and cash back later with 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. With 2 ways to earn on purchases, it makes a lot of other cards seem one-sided.
This is Conley, Cameron, Zach, and Clementine.
We have a serious hairball issue.
We cleaned it up and turned around, and there it is again. It's scary. A little bit in my eye.
Underneath the kitchen table, underneath my work desk, we've got enough to knit a sweater. Zach, what is that? Oh, the Swiffer sweeper.
It's like the Swiffer dusters. It's some sort of magic cloth that sucks in all the dog hair.
It's quick and easy. Pretty amazing that I picked it all up. I would totally take on another dog.
Really?
You get sick, you can't breathe through your nose. Suddenly, you're a mouth breather. A mouth breather. Well, put on a Breathe Right strip and shut your mouth. Cold medicines open your nose over time, but add a Breathe Right strip and pow, it opens your nose up to 38% more. So you can breathe and do the one thing you want to do. Sleep. Add Breathe Right to your cold medicine, shut your mouth, and sleep right. Breathe Right. And look for the calming scent of new Breathe Right lavender in the sleep aisle.
Seatbelts, headrests, and airbags help you survive a crash. But if you upgrade your headlights, you may even avoid one. See farther, wider, better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
Find it. Go out there and find that place. Because only you know where you're going. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is life. Yeah. And it begins when you find your fit.
Apples are good. A Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow motion horse, the bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're going to take you through the next 7 days, and a lot happens in the next 7 days. We've got the first official day of winter coming up on Sunday, and then we've got Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to talk about. Got your attention, right? And you know what? We may be looking at a pretty impressive storm setting up here for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So let's get you there. Tomorrow, we're looking at a pretty quiet weather day. If your travel plans take you through St. Louis, that might be an issue tomorrow morning, or Kansas City as well. Some rain into Houston, but most of the southeast doing just fine. 40s in New York, quiet weather. Pacific Northwest in for a rainy, snowy next couple of days. San Francisco, another round of rain, but this might be it for you guys. Now, we're going to watch a disturbance coming in across the southern states with the southern branch of the jet stream. That is going to mean a lot of rain and maybe severe weather into Saturday, too, along the Gulf Coast. Rain for Atlanta. Higher elevation in the mid-Atlantic will be seeing snow out of this. And then with the upper level system, maybe a little wintry weather for parts of the Northeast. But Sunday looking good. Pittsburgh, the Steelers playing at home on Sunday. We'll watch the Pacific Northwest for more storms all the way through Monday. But watch what happens when we get into Monday. And here we are, Tuesday, looking at some rain, a lot of warm air coming northward ahead of our storm system. But eventually, and this one may be named, by the way, we'll get the cold air wrapping in behind it. That's going to mean on Christmas Eve, some snow, Chicago to Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and rain for the Northeast, at least initially. Nick?
Terror in the skies for passengers on an American Airlines flight headed to Dallas. Their jet hit severe turbulence over Japan, sending anything that wasn't strapped down flying. Well, today they arrived home shaken and sharing their stories. Here's NBC's Tom Costello.
By all accounts, it was a terrifying mid-air experience. American Airlines Flight 280 flying from Seoul, South Korea to Dallas. Suddenly at 34,000 feet, extreme turbulence. It went on for 30 to 45 minutes. Fully loaded food carts, laptops, and wine bottles went flying. A flight attendant knocked unconscious after hitting the exit sign. A passenger hit in the head with a flying plate.
You okay?
And some passengers began to pray.
I love my family.
I haven't seen this. I have flown about 5 million miles, and this was probably the worst I have seen.
With the plane a complete mess and passengers injured, the pilot turned back and landed in Tokyo. In all, 14 injured. 7 taken to area hospitals, including a flight attendant with a broken arm.
Everything that wasn't bolted down or seat belted flew into the air.
Today, many of Flight 280's passengers arrived in Dallas. American Airlines says the plane had been routed around a winter storm in the area, but without warning, it ran into severe clear air turbulence. Clear air turbulence is essentially a fast wave-like motion created by atmospheric pressure, jet streams, and air pockets. While modern planes carry advanced weather mapping systems, turbulence can be very difficult to forecast.
There's no way to predict. You're in clear air, it all looks good, and then suddenly you find that you're in moderate or greater turbulence.
30 to 50 people are injured in turbulence each year. Another reason to always keep your seatbelt buckled. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
All right, let's go in depth now to see what causes that type of turbulence that struck the plane. Kim?
And while it's maybe impossible to predict exactly where it is, there are areas that you can avoid as a pilot if you know where the jet stream is and where those jet streaks are. Now, the storm they were talking about is this one here. You can see it wound up here on a visible satellite picture right here. And you can see the flow around, the cyclonic flow. So we're still looking at some problems maybe over the area. A very powerful storm. It deepened very rapidly. And for that to happen, you need a strong jet stream aloft. You need a strong jet streak, we call it, or an area of maximum winds with the jet stream, and that's unfortunately what we saw over the area. And still looking at our jet stream where we have 200-mile-per-hour winds across the region. But an area to watch out for, especially in this scenario, is just to the north of the jet max. So you see the blue, that's where the strongest winds are, but you're looking at weaker winds. You go farther away from it and to the north of it, that's an area of concern. That's an area that you might want to avoid if you're a pilot. Now in the northeast, a scenario like this happens sometimes. We have our jet stream like this, right over the northeast. Sometimes you'll get some turbulence with this. And so you have the slower winds either to the north of it or just underneath it. So sometimes you get those little circulations spinning up around it. And that plane flies through it. You have downward winds, then you've got winds going up again. So you can imagine the up and down motion you experience if you get caught up in this. I mean, I can't even imagine 20 to 30 minutes of dealing with this. Those poor people, I'll tell you what. All right, guys, up next, you'll want to see how that storm that caused that turbulence in the Pacific is going to influence our Christmas weather right here at home.
I take pride of Sex OTC each morning for my frequent heartburn. Because you can't see, zero heartburn.
Prilosec OTC, the #1 doctor-recommended frequent heartburn medicine for 9 straight years. 1 pill each morning, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
From I wonder what it is to you'll never guess. Everything we sell at LL Bean is backed by the same rock-solid guarantee of satisfaction. So while they keep guessing what's inside, you can rest assured that they can always take it back or replace it. That's just how we're made. LL Bean, guaranteed to please.
We're taking outdoor living to the extreme. The Ultimate Sportsman's Lodge. Take these amazing mountain views, add in some wild neighbors, and you have every outdoorsman's dream.
Look at this view.
It's high-tech, handcrafted, and full of surprises and celebrity outdoor enthusiasts. Tom Brokaw, Huey Lewis, and Jim Belushi. Come inside the Ultimate Sportsman's Lodge. New series, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Great American Country.
Currently in our area, 71 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, sunshine. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear. Low 55. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
to make your signature Christmas dish.
Mine is mouth-watering mashed potatoes. I mix my russets with milk, butter, and cream cheese to make them super creamy. And yours?
Sock it to me spiral cut ham.
Whoa, you made this?
Yep. I just take a Sam's Choice super premium spiral cut ham from Walmart, bake it flat side down, tint the foil so all the juices can mingle.
Who are you?
Ham Man.
Walmart has everything you need for Christmas dinner at unbeatable prices. Guaranteed by Savings Catcher. Walmart.
Push it. Push it. Push it real good. Ooh, baby, baby. Baby, baby.
If you're Salt and Peppa, you tell people to push it.
Push it real good.
It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
I'm pushing it real good. Apples are good. As Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow motion horse, the bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
So many gifts to buy at so many stores. Too bad some cashback cards only let you earn bonus cashback at a few places. Then those categories change every few months. Sometimes it's drugstores, then it's hardware stores. Nothing says happy holidays like a shovel. Fortunately, there's the Quicksilver card from Capital One. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited.
House of Appliances. Over 40 premium appliance brands and the only Sub-Zero Wolf Living Kitchen in South Florida make our exquisite 12,000 square foot showroom a cut above the competition. Locally owned for over 30 years, House of Appliances expert sales associates, in-house delivery service, and factory certified installation teams are here to serve you. Visit House of Appliances, where customer satisfaction is the house rule.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the
Make the best entertainment part of your holidays. Catch all the hottest hand-picked titles on the winter watch list, only with Xfinity from Comcast. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
You must call right now. To order your limousine, call 1-800-997-4948. That's 1-800-997-4948.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera.
Oh my God!
Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight, wild weather at 8. Coming up next.
All right, check this out. Wow. This is surveillance video from Portland, Oregon last week, where the facade of a building suddenly collapsed. It happened during a windstorm. Now, folks in the area said it sounded like an explosion when all of those bricks crashed to the ground. Luckily, no one was hurt. And believe it or not, the engineers determined that the building is still structurally sound. There we go again. And look at the outflow. Woo! Wow. All right, time now for the winter weather update. Let's go to Kim in the lab with Storm Tracker Jim Cantore.
Jim was saying it looks better now, but I don't know if I would trust those engineers. I don't know. Something like that happens, like,
Yeah, that's kind of. But you know what was cool about that is the meteorology involved. Okay. So here's the little building collapse.
Okay.
It comes down, and then you get this big outflow.
Yeah.
So almost like a dry microburst.
Yeah.
And then you can see the eddy kind of spinning up in the dust on the edge of it. So if we show it again, you watch it kind of come out. That dust will come right at you and kind of spin up. You see that?
Right.
That's exactly what happens with a microburst, and that's why you don't want to be an aircraft flying that. And speaking of aircraft, we talked about what happened here with the turbulence with the American Airlines. Well, this whole pattern right here that's basically starting off in this area is going to really change us up big time, Kim, and set us up for some interesting weather coming up next week. And
gets rid of our split flow.
Right,
basically.
right. We're going to go back to the big high amplitude, so the big ridge trough, and you know what that means coming up. Either way, the system that we're going to deal with that's just coming into California now, look at where it is by Sunday at 9:30, already ejecting off the East Coast. So things are flying still with the jet stream, regardless of the fact that we're going to change up that pattern here a little bit. So let's talk about this. Here it is, the last gasp for California. You may get a little rain tonight in the LA basin or not, but that's it. After that, it's all ridging for at least 9 days now. I counted. At least 9 days for Southern California. Should be some great travel plans. There you see the energy with that, moving across Arizona, New Mexico overnight, Texas, into Oklahoma and Arkansas as we work our way in toward Friday night. And that means, of course, rain will develop on the eastern side of this with warm, moist air. But here's the cold part of this system. And it never really gets involved in this. If anything, you'll kind of watch it, push it right on out to sea. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So there it goes right here. And here comes the cold system behind that with a little bit of snow for upstate New York and onto New England. So they don't phase. We talk a lot about phasing these two branches of the jet stream. And when that happens, you can get a decent storm. And that's probably not going to happen.
So a lot of rain with this.
So yeah, mostly rain, you know, little snippets here. Watch it. You know, here's the deal. If you're in the pink on this graphic, heading out Friday night, Christmas party or whatnot, Southern Illinois, Southern Indiana, Louisville, for example, just keep an eye on the car thermometer. And if it's wet,
good point,
below 32, maybe you got some black ice out there, especially on the bridges and overpasses.
One of the best things they ever did was put a thermometer in the car.
I know, seriously. And they're not bad.
No,
they actually are pretty good in terms of the accuracy. So here's the cold rain for you on Saturday in Atlanta and over toward Columbia, South Carolina. Temps will be in the 40s, low 50s at best. Watch out for the ice in the Appalachians. And then there's that thing coming through Sunday. Mainly snow north of the Massachusetts Pike. And then we're done. So here we are with this pattern on Sunday. What happens as we go into Christmas week? Oh boy. Once you get that ridge out west, you can tap into the cold air. And now here comes this big trough developing. And on the east side of this trough, Kim, there's going to be all sorts of active weather right where the jet stream is.
By the way, officially winter at this point.
Yeah, now we are officially into winter. What am I seeing on Twitter already?
Santa Bomb?
Santa Bomb on this thing. They're already naming it Santa Bomb, which I think is very, very creative. Well, here's Santa Bomb or whatever we're going to call it. I guess it's the E-storm for the Weather Channel. But we're talking about rain and wind. There will be a tremendous low-level jet in the east side of this. All right? Probably about 60 to 80 knots. And unfortunately, depending on where this is on Wednesday morning, let's say from about 7 a.m. to noon, there's going to be a quarter of those winds coming up through D.C., New York, and Boston. Air travel.
Bad.
Could be really bad there if this verifies. On the backside of this, a lot of you will start out with sunshine because you'll be, you know, the dry slot will come in behind the cold front. But this is very cold air aloft coming in with the cold air dropping south, and we will have convective snow showers more than likely. So big splashes on the map, and they won't be rain. They'll more than likely be snow as this cold air drops on off toward the south. And so there's that big trough. Here's those low-level winds, 60 to 70 knots. Look at that. There it is by 7 a.m. Hopefully it'll go that fast, but if it slows down, Kim, we're going to have big problems on
hopefully we'll get dry slotted for New York.
Yeah, that's all rain precipitation-wise.
Initially, but
right now.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Nick, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Hey, we have one more thing to tell you about tonight coming up after your local on the 8s. Keep it here.
Currently in our area, 71 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, cloudy intervals, low 57, winds light and variable. Thursday, sunshine. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear. Low 55. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, here's what we're watching as we head through this evening. A little bit of snow slowing down the evening commute here around downtown Wichita. Almost an inch already being reported. You can see on the radar the blue indicating where the snow is. Watch out, there might be some icy spots. That's that purple coming across Interstate 49, 44 here, just west of Springfield. That's going to be a lot of heavy rainfall. So we're looking for all different kinds of precipitation types as we head through your evening hours. Snow mixed with sleet, maybe some freezing rain, and rain farther toward the south. More snow as we head through the early morning hours, moving into Kansas City. That could make your morning drive a little rough, and our Mike Seidel is being sent there even as we speak. St. Louis, we're watching you too, because during the day on Thursday, we're probably going to see some snow moving your way as well. Not a whole lot of snow for you around St. Louis, but you know, Kansas City might see 1 to 3 inches, and an area here in Kansas with 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. A lot of things to watch as we head through the night and into tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Strange lightning bolts you can hold.
This keeps getting bigger as we're going down.
An unbelievable backwards flowing river. From weird supersized icicles.
I looked out my bedroom window. This is what I saw.
To monstrous thunderclouds caused by fire.
It's like a mushroom cloud. It's just exploding.
Oh my God, look at it go.
Welcome to the wild world of weather, where you'll see nature go nuts. Extraordinary events stranger than anything Hollywood can dream up. We discover how and why these crazy conditions happen.
Whoa! Woo!
You won't believe your eyes. This is the strangest weather on Earth. The Arecibo Observatory, Puerto Rico, September 2001. An astonishing beam of vivid blue light, bursting 43 miles upwards into the atmosphere. It's a spectacular natural event, known as a blue jet. Not much is known about these enigmatic jets, according to lightning expert George Karunas.
We're very familiar with lightning, these bolts of electricity that come out of thunderstorms. But there are types of lightning well above the thunderstorm that we know so little about. Blue jets are one example of that. Blue jets tend to go from the tops of thunderstorms up in a conical shape. Very, very bizarre, crazy type of lightning.
Blue jets are electrical discharges blasted into the atmosphere by thunderstorms. They travel 300 times faster than sound, erupting into the stratosphere for less than a second before disappearing.
That sliver of the atmosphere, we know so little about it. The only reason why we know these things existed in the first place is that there have been a few eyewitness reports from pilots flying at night seeing these strange flashes. And of course, that got the interest of scientists who have now verified that this effect does indeed exist.
Incredibly, the first recording of them was taken from an aircraft as recently as 1994. Beautiful but elusive. Very few images of blue jets have ever been caught on camera. Joe Dwyer is head of physics and space sciences at the Florida Institute of Technology.
It seems sometimes like we know more about the backside of the moon than we know about our own atmosphere just a few miles over our heads. It's absolutely incredible that these gigantic discharges, they fill up the sky, they're bright enough to see. It's amazing that we didn't notice them until just a few years ago.
Using a Van de Graaff machine, Joe demonstrates the jets on a small scale.
We can use the Van de Graaff machine to illustrate lightning. We can also use it to illustrate blue jets and the color of blue jets. A spark here in air at sea level is very similar to the color of a blue jet slightly above a thunderstorm. Since I don't want to be the target of this thing, I'm going to plug in this sphere. That'll give it something to strike. I'm going to fire it up. Voltages are rising. I'll move the second sphere a bit closer. And there you go. The reason these sparks appear blue is that when electrons move through nitrogen, they bump into nitrogen molecules, which then emit blue light at this pressure. The nitrogen's being electrified. It's glowing blue.
Recently, weather researchers have had their first glimpse of blue jets that extend even further into the atmosphere. So large, they can be seen with the naked eye. These supersized events are known as gigantic jets.
So about 10 years ago, we found out that there's this other thing in the upper atmosphere called gigantic jets. These are sort of blue jets on steroids. Instead of going 30 miles up in the atmosphere, they go twice as high, almost to the edge of space. Gigantic jets, as they leave the thunderstorm, they will look quite blue. But as the air gets less dense, as you go up towards space, nitrogen switches over from emitting blue to emitting red.
Want to see a gigantic jet? It's not easy.
What you need is a high mountaintop, if you're patient enough and you wait for your eyes to adjust to the light. And if you're just so lucky, you might get the chance to see this blue cone of light shooting out of the top of a thunderstorm. And if you do, you've witnessed something that very few people have.
Blue jets are extremely rare, but for those who do witness them, they're unforgettable. Saskatoon, Canada, March 2013. A giant icicle is clinging to the side of an apartment block.
I looked out my bedroom window. This is what I saw.
These icy growths wreak havoc wherever they form. Julian Struve of the National Snow and Ice Data Center in Boulder, Colorado, describes how icicles attach to roofs.
Icicles need a few things in order for them to form. The first thing you need is you need to have snowfall on top, for example, of the roof. And then you need to have successive sort of freeze-thaw cycles that allow the snow to melt and drip down and then freeze later. So you have this constant sort of freeze-thaw cycle that happens that allows this ice to build up like we see here coming out of the gutter.
But just why did this icicle supersize?
So places like Saskatoon, where you can have very, very cold temperatures at night, if you start melting during the day and keep freezing at night, you can just start accumulating a lot more ice that just builds up over time, and you can get very, very large icicles.
Giant icicles are amazing to look at. But when they get this big, the only thing to do is close the street and get rid of them. This one envelops the city's power lines. It takes hours to melt off with hot water. This icicle even draws international attention with its own Twitter account. Contractors take a chainsaw to it, but it's not going without a fight. Even small icicles can be sharp missiles.
You can see that the ends of them are quite pointy, so if that were to fall, it's almost like a knife piercing you. Ice is also quite heavy, so it could cause a lot of damage if it fell on you.
In 2010, in St. Petersburg, Russia, 5 people are killed and 150 injured by falling icicles. Even icicle management in the city is hazardous. This one knocks down a set of traffic lights. In China, a car is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the driver is lucky to escape unhurt. One thing is for certain. With colder winters predicted, keeping our buildings clear of these giant icicles is going to be a battle. Coming up, mushrooms with the power to change the weather.
So it's amazing that mushrooms can control the climate underneath them by changing the humidity, changing the temperature. It's just amazing.
And a spectacular landscape created by this.
That was intense. Those things are dangerous.
Wild Weather at 8 continues after the break.
Surely a vacuum shouldn't just work on carpets. Well, the Dyson DC65 has better overall performance across all floors than any other vacuum. Works for me.
MegaRed is an omega-3 supplement recognized by the Hope Heart Institute. Research shows omega-3s may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. The omega-3s in MegaRed are easily absorbed by the body, and it's just one small pill a day. Support your heart health with MegaRed.
Christmas is days away, so let's act fast, really fast. Let's do must-have, know-how, just right now. Last minute? You got it. Or get one of these. Let's put the list to bed. Add up the savings and count down the days. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Buy a combo kit and get up to $150 toward any cordless power tool, radio, or battery.
I will take beauty into my own hands, where it belongs.
Olay Regenerist Renews to reveal new skin in only 5 days without drastic measures. Stunningly youthful, award-winning skin. From the world's #1, Olay, your best beautiful.
It's only for a couple of nights, okay?
Baby?
For me?
She'll love it.
Thanks.
If you're taking multiple medications, does your mouth often feel dry? A dry mouth can be a side effect of many medications, but it can also lead to tooth decay and bad breath. That's why there's Biotene. Available as an oral rinse, toothpaste, spray, or gel, Biotene can provide soothing relief, and it helps keep your mouth healthy, too. Remember, while your medication is doing you good, a dry mouth isn't. Biotene, for people who suffer from a dry mouth.
The Weather Channel unearths the investigations, the mysteries.
Nobody was flying the plane.
Why planes crash, Mondays at 9, here on the Weather Channel.